It was a quiet night in the small village. The wind outside was cold, and most homes had turned off their lights. Inside the only clinic of the area, Nurse Mira sat alone, finishing some paperwork. The old clock on the wall ticked slowly. It was past 10 p.m., and she was getting ready to close. Just then, the front door creaked open. Mira looked up. A man stood there, tired, dirty, and coughing badly. His clothes were worn out, his shoes covered in mud. He didn't say anything. He just looked at her, his eyes full of pain. And something else. Something like fear. Mira stood up quickly. "Are you okay?" she asked. He coughed again but didn't answer. He stepped inside, holding his side like he was in pain. Mira reached for her medical bag, but the man raised a hand slowly, as if to say, "Don't." She noticed he didn't meet her eyes. He looked like someone who hadn't eaten in days. Mira hesitated. The clinic hours were over, and she was alone. "Sir, we're closed for the night," she said, gently but firmly. "There's a hospital in the city, about 30 minutes away." Still, the man said nothing. Then Mira saw it, tears in his eyes. He slowly sat down on the bench in the waiting area, leaned his head back, and closed his eyes. Mira's heart softened. He looked so broken, so tired. Something inside her told her not to ask questions. Not now. She walked over with a glass of water and placed it in his hand. "You need medicine," she said. "Wait here." She gave him basic treatment, something for his cough, a painkiller for his side, and some warm tea. He took it all silently, his hands shaking. Still no name, no ID, no explanation. "You don't have to talk," Mira said quietly. "Just rest. I won't call anyone." He looked at her for a moment, just one long look, then gave a tiny nod. The clinic had a small room with a couch and a blanket. Mira let him sleep there. She didn't know why she was helping a stranger, especially one who didn't trust her enough to speak. But something told her he wasn't dangerous, just lost. The night passed slowly. Mira worked at her desk again, keeping an ear open for any sound from the other room. At midnight, she heard his voice. "You saved me." It was soft, barely, a whisper. "No one's done that before," he added. Mira looked up. But he didn't say anything more. Just silence. The next morning, the man was gone. She walked into the small room. The blanket was folded neatly. The teacup was washed and placed upside down on the counter. He had cleaned up after himself. And then Mira saw it. On the table, next to the empty medicine packet, was a plain white envelope. No address, no money, no note. Just one word written on the front, in neat handwriting. "Tomorrow." Mira held the envelope in her hand, confused. Her mind started to race. Why didn't he give his name? Why was he coughing so badly, yet didn't want to go to a hospital? And what did tomorrow mean? The air in the clinic suddenly felt heavy, as if something important had just happened, and she didn't yet understand it. She stood there, for a long time, looking out the window at the empty street. The wind blew softly. The man had come in with nothing, left with nothing. But he had left behind something she couldn't explain, a feeling that her life was about to change. Something was coming tomorrow, and Mira had no idea what it would be. She gave medicine to a poor-looking man. Next morning, he offered to buy her clinic, written in third-person style, using simple basic English and continuing the suspenseful tone. The next morning started just like any other. Mira unlocked the door of her small clinic, swept the front step, and set the kettle to boil. But something felt different. Her eyes kept going back to the envelope the strange man had left behind, still resting on her desk, still just one word on it. Tomorrow. She turned it over a few times, hoping for some clue. Maybe a phone number. Maybe a hidden message. Nothing. Just that one strange word. Throughout the morning, she couldn't focus. Every time a patient came in, she found herself checking the road outside through the window. But no one unusual came. Just the same villagers she treated every week. Old Mr. Sharma with his knee pain, young mothers with babies, and a schoolboy with a fever. Still, no sign of the man from last night. By noon, Mira was sure he was gone for good. Maybe he had just needed a warm place to rest. Maybe tomorrow meant nothing. Maybe he didn't even remember leaving the note. But at exactly 1:05 p.m., everything changed. A black car pulled up outside the clinic, a very expensive one. The engine purred, the paint shone. It didn't belong to anyone in this village. No one here could afford a car like that. Mira stepped out slowly. Her heart was already racing. The driver's door opened, and there he was, the same man from last night. But this time, he looked completely different. His clothes were clean and sharp. A fresh white shirt, dark trousers, polished shoes. His hair was combed, his face shaved. He no longer looked like a poor, tired stranger. He looked like someone important. Mira stared in shock. "You," she whispered. He smiled faintly. "Good afternoon, Nurse Mira." She frowned. "You remember my name?" "I remember everything," he said softly. "Especially kindness." She crossed her arms. "You never told me yours." He nodded slowly. "That's why I came back, to change that." Then he walked past her, into the clinic like he had every right to be there. She followed, confused and cautious. He looked around the room, taking in the old wooden furniture, the faded posters on the walls, the rusty filing cabinet. He nodded, to himself. Then he turned to her. "This place, it means something to you, doesn't it?" "It's all I have," Mira said simply. "I run it alone. No sponsors. No big support. Just me, trying to help whoever walks through that door." He looked at her, eyes soft. "And last night I was one of those people." She didn't know what to say. He reached into his coat and pulled out a folder. Inside it was a letter, a legal document, a check, and something else. A small photo of him, dressed in a black suit, shaking hands with important-looking people. In the background, a tall building with glass walls and a big sign that said, Rajan Group Medical Corp. Mira stared at the photo, then back at him. "You're..." she started. "Yes," he said. "I'm Arjun Rajan, CEO. My company owns hospitals across the country." Mira took a step back. "Why were you here last night looking like that?" He didn't smile this time. "Because I was running away," he said. "From noise, from fake people, from everything." "But why come here?" she asked. "Why me?" He looked her in the eyes. "Because you helped me. Without knowing who I was. Without asking for anything. That's rare." Mira was silent. The air between them felt heavier now. Then Arjun placed the check on the desk. A number was written there, so large it made her breath catch. "I want to buy this clinic," he said, "but not to shut it down. I want to rebuild it, make it bigger, better, with your name on the door." She stared at him. "You want to give me this money?" "I want to invest in someone real," he said. "In someone like you." Mira looked down at the check, then at the photo, then at him. Everything was moving too fast. Who really was this man? And what did he really want? Because no one gives away that kind of money without a reason. Mira stared at the check as if it might disappear. The number was more than she had ever seen in her life. Enough to build a full hospital. Enough to change everything. But something inside her didn't feel excited. It felt confused, uncertain. Arjun stood quietly across from her. His expensive clothes, his powerful name, the way he looked so calm. It all felt unreal. Less than 24 hours ago, he was coughing and sleeping in her waiting room. Now he was offering her a future she never dared to imagine. She finally spoke. "Why me?" His eyes softened. "Because when I needed help, you didn't look at my clothes, or my face, or my name. You looked at my pain. That means something to me." Mira shook her head. "You could have gone to a big hospital. You're a CEO. You could have called anyone." Arjun gave a small smile. "That's the problem. When you have too much, you stop knowing who's real. I wanted to disappear. I picked this town because it was far. Quiet. No cameras. No news. And then I met you." Her voice was quiet. "I still don't understand." He stepped forward, his voice serious. "This clinic, it saved me more than you know. And I want to help you save others. But only if you want it. I'm not here to buy your dream, Mira. I'm here to protect it." She looked at the check again. "What's the catch?" "There's no catch," Arjun replied. "You'll run the clinic your way, but I'll give you the support you need, staff, equipment, funds, all under your name." Mira's heart was racing. Could this be real? Then she asked the question she had been holding since last night. "What were you running from, Arjun?" He paused. His smile faded. "My brother," he said. "My only family left. He tried to take over my company while I was sick. He thought I was dying. I left everything and disappeared to see who would care if I was gone. Most didn't." Mira blinked. "But you're better now." "Yes," he said. "Because of you." The air between them grew quiet. Mira still didn't know how to feel. A part of her wanted to trust him. Another part was scared. Before she could speak again, her phone rang. It was a local reporter. "Hello, Nurse Mira?" the voice said quickly. "Is it true that Arjun Rajan is in your clinic?" Her eyes widened. "What? How do you know that?" "There's a photo. Trending online. Someone spotted his car near your town. We're on our way there. This could be big news." Mira froze. Arjun's face tensed. He whispered, "I didn't want this. I just wanted peace." But it was too late. By the time Mira stepped outside, 3 cars had pulled up. Reporters, cameras, microphones. Arjun stayed inside, looking out the window with a tired expression. "Should I tell them to leave?" Mira asked him. He shook his head. No. It was going to happen sooner or later. He stood tall, took a deep breath, and walked outside. Reporters rushed forward, shouting questions. "Mr. Rajan, are you buying this clinic? Is this nurse your new business partner or something more? Why were you hiding in a small town?" Mira stood frozen at the door, watching. Arjun raised a hand. "Please, I'll speak soon, but not here. Let us work in peace." Surprisingly, the crowd went silent. His voice held power, even when soft. Then he turned to Mira. "I'll stay until the storm passes. If you'll let me." She nodded slowly, but her heart was full of questions. Why had her small world become so big, so fast? And was this just the beginning, or the beginning of the end? She gave medicine to a poor-looking man. Next morning, he offered to buy her clinic, written in third-person style, using simple English and keeping the suspense and emotions alive. The clinic was no longer quiet. By the next morning, everything had changed. News vans were parked outside. Strangers were taking pictures. Patients who once came in silence now peeked through the windows, hoping to see the man from the headlines. Arjun Rajan, the missing millionaire. Inside, Mira moved through the rooms with a heavy heart. Her clinic didn't feel like hers anymore. The peace was gone. Her patients were nervous. Some thought the place was being sold. Some thought she was leaving. Whispers spread like smoke. She found Arjun in the back room, looking out the window. His face looked calm, but his fingers tapped the edge of the table. He was thinking. Planning. "Still want to stay?" she asked, softly. He turned to her, gave a tired smile. "It's funny. I spent years building a business empire, and now the only place I want to be is here. With you." Mira didn't know how to answer that. She was still unsure of everything. Of him. She sat across from him. "Why are they still here? You told them to leave." He sighed. "My brother knows I'm alive now. He'll use the media to make me look weak, lost, maybe even unfit to lead. He wants to scare investors." "Can he really do that?" Mira asked. "He already is," Arjun said quietly. "And if I don't return soon, I could lose everything." "Then why are you still here?" His eyes met hers. "Because I've already lost everything that didn't matter. What's left? I want to protect." There was silence. Deep, personal. Then suddenly, a knock on the back door. Arjun moved. First. He looked through the curtain, then opened it. 2 men in suits stood there. Their eyes were sharp. One held a briefcase. The other smiled too much. "Mr. Rajan," said the smiling man, "your brother sends his regards. He wants you to return home, now." Arjun didn't move. "Tell him I'm not ready." The second man opened the briefcase. Inside was a stack of papers. "This is a court order," he said. "If you don't return by tomorrow, the board will vote to remove you permanently." Mira stepped forward. "He's not well. He just recovered." The smiling man cut her off. "And you are?" "Mira, this clinic's nurse, and the woman who kept him alive when no one else cared." The man looked her up and down like she was unimportant. "Enjoy your time, Miss Mira. It won't last." They left just as quickly as they came. Mira locked the door behind them. Arjun sat back down, the weight of everything pressing on him. "They'll take your company," Mira said. "I know. You'll lose everything." He looked up at her. "Not everything. Not if you stay." Mira's heart skipped. She had never been more confused or more afraid. Later that night, as the world outside buzzed with cameras and chaos, Mira sat alone in the patient room. In her hands was the check, and beside her, the envelope he had left that first night. She opened it. Inside was not money, not papers, just a photo. A younger Arjun, standing with a woman. She had kind eyes. She wore a nurse's uniform, just like Mira's. On the back of the photo, in small handwriting, were 5 words. "She saved me once. Again now." Mira held the photo close to her chest, her eyes filled with tears she didn't expect. Who was that woman? Why did she look like her? And was Arjun telling her that he had come back, not by accident, but because of a promise? Let me know when you're ready for part 5, where we'll finally reveal the truth about the photo, Arjun's past connection to Mira, and a twist that changes everything. That night, Mira couldn't sleep. She held the photo over and over, studying the woman in it. Her face was familiar, but not from memory, from stories. Suddenly, it clicked. She rushed to the small wooden cupboard in the corner of her room. It was old and dusty, filled with things that once belonged to her late mother. Books, letters, photos. Mira hadn't touched it in years. Her fingers trembled as she pulled out a yellowed album. She flipped through pages until she stopped on a photo, one with the same woman in it. Her mother, wearing the same white nurse's uniform, with the same gentle smile. Mira's eyes filled with tears. She sat down, heart pounding. The woman in Arjun's photo was her mother. Years ago. Was that how he knew her? Was that why he came to this clinic? Morning came slowly. The sun felt different. Mira walked into the clinic where Arjun was already up, sitting with a file in front of him. But he wasn't reading. He looked at her the moment she stepped in. "You didn't sleep." "You knew my mother," she said softly. He didn't pretend to be surprised. He nodded. "I did. Years ago. I was 19, lost, starving. I collapsed outside a government clinic in a small village. She was the only nurse there." Mira sat across from him, silent. "She gave me food, medicine, and told me, kindness always returns, sometimes when we least expect it. I never forgot her. And when I made it, I searched for her too, thank her. But I was too late. She died when I was 10, Mira whispered. I didn't know she had a daughter. But when you gave me medicine without asking who I was, something felt familiar. Later that night, I saw her photo on the wall. That's when I knew." Mira was speechless. He continued. "I didn't plan to stay. I was hiding from a business attack. I thought I'd rest, heal, and leave. But you reminded me why I ever wanted to survive." Tears ran down Mira's cheeks now. "Why didn't you tell me before?" "Because I didn't want you to be kind to me because of the past. I wanted to know if your heart was truly like hers." Silence fell between them. Then Arjun pushed a paper toward her. "This is the legal document. I want to transfer ownership of the clinic to you, fully. No tricks. It's yours, Mira. Forever." She stared at the paper. "Why?" "Because this place saved me twice. First by your mother, then by you." Before Mira could answer, her phone buzzed. A news alert. "Arjun Rajan's company is collapsing. CEO missing. Brother takes control." Her breath caught. She looked up. "You're losing your company now," she said. He smiled softly. "I already chose what I want to keep." Mira's hands shook as she held the papers. This was real. This man, once a stranger, was now someone deeply tied to her past and possibly her future. Outside, the reporters were still waiting. The story was growing. But inside, something else was growing too. Trust. Respect. Something warm. Mira stood up slowly. "If you're serious about staying," "I am." "Then I'll stay, too," she whispered. Their eyes met. This time there were no more secrets. Just the feeling that something big was about to begin. Let me know when you're ready for part 6, where the final confrontation with Arjun's brother unfolds, and Mira must choose between safety and standing beside the man who changed her life. She gave medicine to a poor-looking man. Next morning, he offered to buy her clinic, written in third-person style, using simple English, with strong suspense and emotion to keep your audience watching till the end. 3 days had passed since Arjun gave the clinic to Mira. News about him spread like fire across every TV channel. CEO missing. Billionaire gives away fortune. Is Arjun Rajan hiding with a woman? Helicopters had flown over the clinic twice. Reporters were camping in town. But Mira didn't care anymore. She knew her truth. She had saved a man, not a millionaire. And he had saved her too, in a way even medicine couldn't. That evening, Mira was locking the clinic when a black car stopped outside. Two men in suits stepped out. One of them was tall, confident, and looked very familiar. He walked straight to her. "I'm Dev Rajan," he said. "Arjun's brother." Her heart dropped. "I know he's here." Mira said nothing. "I'm not here to hurt him," Dev continued. "But he left our company in the middle of a crisis. People are scared. Stocks are falling. We can't fix this without him." She crossed her arms. "Maybe he's tired of fixing everyone else's problems." Dev paused, surprised. "So he told you everything?" "Yes." "And you believe him?" "Yes." Dev looked around, at the small, quiet building. "He gave this place to you?" Mira nodded. "Because it matters." Dev sighed. "He's always been emotional. He thinks saving one life means saving the world." "Maybe he's right," Mira said. Dev looked at her closely. "You've changed him." She didn't answer, but she didn't have to. Just then, Arjun stepped out from behind the door. "I'll come with you, Dev, but on one condition." Dev raised an eyebrow. "What is it?" "She stays out of this. You tell the media nothing. No name, no photos, no stories." Dev hesitated. "Fine. And I'll return, not to fix the company for good, but to settle it. Then I'm done." Mira's breath caught. "You're leaving?" Arjun turned to her. "Only for a while. I have to finish what I started." She didn't speak. Her eyes said everything. He stepped forward, gently held her hands. "I'm not the man who walked in here that night anymore. You changed that. I don't know what will happen next, but I want to come back to this place. To you." Tears filled her eyes. He smiled. "Wait for me?" She nodded. "Only if you promise to come back. Not as a CEO, just as the man who coughed into my waiting room and left me a mystery." He laughed softly. "Deal." Then he left with his brother, disappearing into the night. Weeks passed. The media moved on. The stocks recovered. And the small town became quiet again. Every day, Mira sat by the clinic window, waiting. Some days were longer than others, until one morning, a black car returned. No suits, no cameras, just Arjun, holding flowers, wearing no watch, no tie. Just a soft smile. "I kept my promise," he said. She opened the door, and this time she didn't just give him medicine. She gave him a home.